and has been screened at more than 30 international festivals worldwide. In 2013, he finished Czech-Croatian documentary Occupation, the 27th picture. He has also been heading the Pula Film Festival since 2021. And now he's here with us with Bosnian Pot, which is also participating in the international section at IFFI 54. May we please have the trailer of the Bosnian Pot?
Ich soll unterschreiben, dass deine Texte in den NCCC und über den bosnischen Tod vorgelegt werden. Und von öffentlichem Interesse für die Republik Österreich. Weißt du was? Wir sind ein Dreieck für die Republik Österreich.
Men to passiert gerade ein Genozid und das steht dann schon ab mit so.
Inte opališ, nic. Premijere, ti Maksiću nisam staviti.
Vi ste gomila nepismene gastarbajterski papčina. Pa šta ste imate? Žica? Kako ste? Mogu to trati?
Nebo tekst razlog krati, slogaličke skrati, je spotje kriv.
Jasno. Pisac. Ma što se mene tiče, ovakav priđeš odbor autobusa, nije svejedno. Znam da ti čovjek. Istiš. Tek bio, da su izgledat je. Ova premijera konačno odigra.
Before we move on, a brief synopsis of the Bosnian Pot. Faruk Sego, the protagonist, is a Bosnian writer living in Austria who's suddenly faced with this predicament where he's facing a deportation from Austria. And to avoid that, he must authorities that he's made a cultural contribution to Austrian society, and this takes him through theatre, where he's reluctant to enter, but it is a journey he must take for the self-discovery of himself and his roots. Now we move on to Fest Summer. May we please have the trailer?
Şimdi geliyorum. Teyze bir geldiğinde şey şey.
شنو الرسالة؟
لا يخلصوا الحلوب دي نفسه شتهم أصعب السابع
هذا مقاومة كيف باش حلو بالكنيستيان.
سنقرا بفضلك يعرف غير لغتين ماشي علاش خصنا نردو عليه نفس اللغة
شخصية
شوي في هذه استنش
هي سكرة تعود فيك لا تخليها تمشي بنتي لا تخليها تمشي
Director Mr. Laraki is well known for tackling sensitive themes in works that have been hailed by critics and audiences worldwide. He belongs to the new wave of Moroccan filmmakers. His cinema deals with political repression, be it in Mona Saber, the power of money, like Perfume de Mer, or sexual frustration, be it in Love in the Medina. The common thread through his work is a reflection of human relationship with history, power, and religion. We also have with us Mrs. Carolyn Locardi, producer of Fest Summer 55, and we are very, very glad to have you, ma'am.
Thank you.
A brief synopsis of this film as well. Summer 1955, Kamal, an 11-year-old boy of the Medina of Fez, is experiencing the last months before Morocco's independence. In contact with Aisha and her fellow students of the Quarelkin University, he discovers and takes part in the fight for freedom. Before we open the floor for questions, I would really like the directors to speak about their movies and what was the journey that they took while making them. Pavel, please.
First of all, I would like to greet you, everybody. I'm first time in Goa, and I love Indian audience. All my previous film had premiered in Kerala Film Festival, so it's first time here after Kerala, but it's very nice to be recognized. Also, there are some audience which come to Kerala and don't know my previous work, which was very strange for me because in Europe we don't experience such nice things like here. So it was really something touching. Someone showing me the selfie he did with me 7 years ago, and the same shirt, Indian. So it was really, for me, emotional and touching. The journey for this film was not easy. I did my previous film, Ministry of Love 2016, and with this film, we have been working for financing it for a very long time. It's a Croatian, Austrian, Bosnian co-production with Euroimage. So it's financially speaking, it's a normal Croatian budget film. But in Austrian circumstances, it's a low budget film. So it is a half team working on it. Very famous actors. They had to accept the wage cut. So it was not easy. You see, there is Zlatko Buric, the Triangle of Sadness star. Then we have Senad Basic, a great Bosnian sitcom star, some Austrian television actor. So it was really difficult to when we finance it to really put it to place, because shooting in Austria is much more costly than shooting in Croatia. So for me, it was very big stress. I had to direct on 3 languages. I was using Croatian, German, and English because my Croatian crew don't speak German. They had to learn the text. So it was it was not easy. And when someone says, oh, you enjoy your film, making this film, no, making this film was a pure horror for me. Because 1 week before end of the shooting, the main actor almost died. He went to hospital. He was fighting for his life for 7 months. I didn't know how we finished the film. If someone was there, we had a huge scene with extras. So I had to shoot this scene. He had 40 fever. We had to shoot because I had extras only that day. And we have to reshoot everything after 7 months. So it was really, really hard work. In the meantime, his voice has changed. So we had a lot of it was a horror. It was a post-production horror, and someone tells me, oh, it's a very nice film. Hopefully no one sees which problems we suffered. But yeah, that was a journey. And journey has some autobiographical elements, but I don't want to use now too much time. So I'll take the gentleman to talk about.
Yes. First, I want to say that I was very happy yesterday
by my contact with the audience. I've been a lot of the festival around the world, but really the audience was fantastic. We have a lot of discussion, and I think my movie, because he talk about a period when we push out French colonialism, and we have a lot of discussion about pushing out English from India. And for me, it was very good experience because this is my first time in India. And I used, when I was child, to see a lot of Indian film, but I understand now the film more better and to have discussion with people in India. And that for me, it was a very good experience, and I will remember it. Thank you. For my movie, maybe I'm going to speak in French, and the producer is going to translate, because le film, pour moi, c'est un film que je portais en moi depuis l'âge de 15 ans ou 16 ans, où j'ai décidé dans un ciné-club de faire du cinéma.
Yeah, I bear this story since my whole life, since maybe I'm 15, since I started to go in art house cinema.
Parce que je suis né dans la ville de Fès, mais j'ai grandi dans une ville Meknès qui était très cinéphile.
Yeah, I was born in this very Medina of Fes, you will discover in the movie. But actually then I grew up in the city next to Fes, which is the sister city, which had the particularity to be a very cinema lover city.
Et donc, mais je savais pas comment aborder le sujet, parce que c'est très complexe et très cher en même temps, parce qu'il faut habiller les gens dans les années 50, il faut retrouver les décors, et on avait un très petit budget.
So it was a huge challenge to speak about this period of our history, because this is a special period in our country, and because of the challenge of recreating a period piece with a low budget, and very low budget for European standard, I can tell you, and also low budget on Moroccan standard. All film has virtually the same budget, and so it was huge challenge.
Donc, et un jour avec des résistants, donc je faisais des enquêtes avec des résistants pour trouver l'histoire.
So I was interviewing all resistant fighters to kind of investigate about the angle I could grasp this story.
Et un d'eux qui m'a raconté qu'à l'âge de 12 ans, il passait les armes de terrasse en terrasse pour les résistants.
And one of these old resistant fighters during the development told me an anecdote. He told me how, as a child, he was together with my biggest brother, bigger brother of the director, how he was passing through weapons for the struggle for independence. He was helping the resistance as a child.
Et donc c'est là où j'ai eu l'idée de faire ce film à travers les yeux d'un enfant de 12 ans.
In this very moment, it was clear how I could approach the subject, and I would choose a child
Parce
at
que
the center.
actuellement, nous vivons une période où la violence est vue et est vendue dans toutes les télés jusqu'à un ras-le-bol.
Yeah, today violence is very much banalized in everyday movies.
Et donc, j'ai décidé de partir de cet enfant qui était innocent et par un amour qui portait que l'amour maternel.
And so I was more interested in some innocent child without any...
avec un amour maternel.
It was just full of his mother love, and it was pure.
Et qui, en tombant amoureux d'une jeune fille militante, il épouserait la cause des résistants.
He would open up to the ideology of resistance through a platonic love for a bigger girl, Aisha, in the movie.
Et donc là,
love is a motor.
Et là, j'avais le sujet du film, et j'ai associé toutes les personnes de Fès qui ont participé avec la volonté d'aimer ce projet.
Yeah, and I associated together with a leading cast of emerging cast and established actors. I wanted to associate the very inhabitant of the Medina that are professional or semi-professional, that could bear the project together with me, bring their soul to it.
Et parce que pour moi, la Médina était le héros principal. Il y avait les terrasses d'en haut qui étaient la liberté et les rues qui étaient enfermées par l'armée française.
And the Medina itself is kind of a character. It's the shape of this Medina with these two levels. One up there on the rooftops terrace, which is really an important feature of this film, is a certain world, bright and peaceful.
Woman life.
Yeah, this is the life of women and children, whatever happened downstairs. While downstairs, in the narrow alley of this Medina, which is Old Town in Arabic, there were the French army by then with blocking off with checkpoints, and it was hell. And this two level was a main, would say, a character.
Voilà, thank you.
Thank you so much. Questions from the audience, please. Well, my question is to Bosnian Pot. Firstly, to understand about identities. Identity is very crucial to connect with a country and to have that emotional as well as the political consequential advantage. So how did this thought strike you to make a movie around identity with a country? And question B is, though you are connecting your protagonist with Austria, he wants to be associated with Austria. You call this as Bosnian Pot. So I'm more curious why you call that. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's a lot to respond to. Look, first of all, I'm a Croatian guy, a Roman Catholic, who not practicing, but anyway, who I'm married to Austrian woman. So I actually emigrated in Austria. I also had all of these problems that my protagonist has. You know, Austria is a very rich country, so people want to come there and to live there. We come from from Balkan, Bosnians, Croats, and and of course I had these questions you were asking were actually the political frame of the story, but internal fight of his is because living in the foreign society like Austrian, which actually don't really respect his work, he lost his self-confidence and he stopped being an author. That was happened to me in Austria, where I came first. It's very easy to lose your self-confidence as a writer. You know, I was 4 years rewriting my old theater plays, doing nothing, and actually losing my talent. And for me, that was very important biographical thing I wanted to put in the film. So I wanted to have a Croatian failed writer at one moment, like my alter ego, but it was not possible politically anymore because Croatia entered European Union. So all these problems, we have the dialogue with the guy when he has been taken his residence permit. It happened to me. It was really, I lived this. But somehow when we entered European Union, everything was away. I was there, a respected citizen of Europe. I didn't need any but Bosnia, who is now the state which is out of European Union. They stayed with these problems. I know Bosnians very well because Bosnia is a state complicated. There are 3 nationalities. There are Serbs, Croatians, and Muslim people. We call them Bosniaks. Faruk is a Bosniak from Sarajevo, actually atheistic Bosniak, with a lot of people not in communist time, was not religious, yeah. And so he came there in the wartime. Now his residence permit is revoked. Why it's revoked? Because he was sleeping 10 years his winter sleep. He didn't do anything. He didn't work on himself, you know. And I wanted to actually to make this ironic twist, because he through these all failures he rediscovers himself, rediscovers with this bad theater group, or he rediscovered his artistic way of life. And yes, roots are very important. I think the roots are very important. I'll live in Austria and I'll make maybe Austrian films, but I'll always be a Croatian. My roots are, and my inspiration, my energy comes from where I am and who I am. So I cannot escape this. I can only make Croatian, Austrian films, which are, but I cannot make, you know, Alp thrillers in Alps, because I don't know it. It's not me. So it's also about him. He has been deported. It's actually a spoiler who didn't watch the film. Some of them you watched, you know, he's been luckily deported with his new inspiration, writing at least about his novel. So I mean, the roots, and it's, of course, political frame is important. You live here, you know, in Europe you have immigrations all the time. In Croatia, you know, there come now workers from Nepal, from India, and from Pakistan. They come for the better life, they deliver food, then they come right-wingers, then they beat them in the street because they are different. So it's, of course, these are themes which are very important for Europe politically. But my voyage, my way, was really to talk about the failure of the artist who once was and finding his way back through humor. So that's what I am and what I do. And Bosnian pot is a metaphor. It's a dish. So in Bosnian, it's everything. You put everything in this pot, then you cook it. It was a nice metaphor because his grandfather was a miner, and miners were he's trying to write this novel about miners who are doing this, and it was just a nice visual thing. It happened 3 times in film, and I think I got some poetry, which was actually unexpected when I first started to do it.
Thank you so much. The question to the other movie is, I want to understand, in the current times, contemporary times, we have a lot of fights, struggles, in fact, wars happening. But what made you go back in time to 1950s and tell us this story? I would like to know the intent behind. And secondly, your character is around 10, 11 years old. So when you are perhaps portraying an adult or a aged person, their psyche with war is totally different. So how did you work around with the psyche of a young boy and he going to the war and growing through the war?
Pourquoi parler maintenant de la résistance? D'abord, je voudrais dire un mot sur l'identité.
Yeah, first of all, yeah, good question. And I would tell also a word about the identity
Parce que
subject.
Le film, il démarre sur la France et tous les pays colonisateurs, qui sont anglais, français ou autres, arrivent avec une mission civilisatrice.
In our by then colonized country, the occupying forces came always with this idea, with this myth of a mission to come and bring the civilization to people that have their own.
Et donc, la métaphore de la ville de Fès, qui est une médina fermée à ciel ouvert.
So Fez is a metaphor as a Medina, as a closed space with open sky. Fez, this closed space is a metaphor of the whole Morocco.
And c'est aussi une métaphore à tous les pays qui ont été colonisés.
The metaphor for all places that were colonized. This Medina.
Parce que il y avait une université, la Qarawiyyin, qui est la première université dans le monde.
Yeah, this place you see, the Qarawiyyin University, is the oldest in the world. It was created by a woman also, and
Et elle réunit des gens qui viennent du monde entier pour étudier.
I chose this place because it was a place where people came from everywhere, from Morocco, and not only from other country by then, in the 50s particularly. So it was a cosmopolitan place.
Et donc, en même temps, c'est montrer qu'il y a une culture millénaire, plus ancienne que la culture du colon.
I was interested in showing that this millenary culture we have in Morocco, much more ancient than the occupied period, which was 44 years basically. So
Alors-
this was the starting point about this desire of speaking about resistance.
Alors pourquoi aujourd'hui? Parce que dans le monde entier, tous ces pays anciennement colonisés veulent parler de leur identité contre le néocolonialisme.
Yeah, and nowadays it seemed to be all the more pertinent. I mean, it was basically a desire, but it was also more pertinent because there is a renewed debate today of old ex-colonized country that want to
Parler
to figure out how much neocolonialism we still have in this country, like in many part of the life.
C'est pour ça, et malheureusement, l'histoire nous rattrape. Ce qui se passe aujourd'hui au Moyen-Orient et à Gaza, on peut le retrouver effectivement à beaucoup moins de violence que ce qui se passe, mais le colonialisme a un principe, c'est de nier ceux qu'il colonialise. Il les traite d'animal pour pouvoir les tuer.
Yeah, and it's impressive the way history always repeats itself, the way oppression works, oppressing force treat the oppressed one as somebody without value, as is qualifying like animals, which we have piece in the movie where they are shakal or any kind of animal names to better exerce violence against him.
Pour les déshumaniser.
To bring humanity out of them. And it's impressive. There is a parallel that was not in the time of the development, not specifically thought, but today what happened in Gaza, it's impressive. History repeats ourselves. The violence against the violence of oppressing forces.
Yeah, congratulations, both the filmmakers, Mr. Payo. Your movie is a comedy drama film, right?
Yeah.
And I think you are specialized in comedy. You write
Comedy
comedies.
drama.
Yeah. So are you doing theater also? Plays?
I started as a theater writer.
Wow.
So
great.
I started as a writer. Then I got a job working on a television as dramaturg, as commissioning editor. Then I started to commission the films and the dramaturging for the directors. And then I started to write the scripts.
Great.
Then the others started to direct my scripts. And then I thought maybe I can do this better than them.
Great.
And so it is. But I stopped actually my theater career. I won't say it's over.
Okay.
But it's I don't direct in theater, so actually I never did a theater play as a director, but as a writer many times.
Oh, you released your movie in August, right?
Yes, the world premiere
How-
was in Sarajevo.
It was a theatrical release?
No,
In the cinema or
no,
platform?
now it's theater releases just now, but it was Sarajevo Film Festival. It was very strange things happened because they took us in open air section, which is out of competition. Actually, one of my actors, Buric, he was in the
Yeah.
jury, so we were not
Correct.
we were not able to be there. But suddenly, one day before the festival started, it is like we had 8 screenings.
Wow.
So usually it's 2 screenings. So we had to negotiate. It was a little drama, but it was very good for us at the end. And we sold 8 screenings out, and it was actually a huge success.
Great.
because it was a huge comeback. The guy you see here, Senad Basic, it was his comeback role after very difficult disease he got actually during shooting. Then he almost
just
died.
wanted to know, releasing theatrical all over?
Now,
Okay.
now it's the 6th week in Croatia, 6th week in Bosnia, and 3rd week in Austria. So it's 3 countries.
Congratulations. Wishing you great success.
Thank you very much.
Monsieur Laraki,
Yeah.
je m'appelle Siraj Sayed. Je suis correspondant du filmfestivals.com Paris. Ma question pour vous, maintenant, aujourd'hui, quelles sont les relations entre des pays francophones, par exemple Algérie ou Maroc?
The audience, the relationships between Morocco and other French-speaking countries.
Et la France.
Et la France.
Relationship.
D'abord, je voudrais dire, excusez-moi, she is not my translator. She is
No,
ma-
they know.
Non, mais she is quand même.
Acceptez mes
C'est-
compliments.
No, but I want people to be able to share this interesting question, which is burning question by the. No, I'm the producer, but briefly introducing us.
C'est-
So
et-
it's
et ça a-
basically.
et ça a été un film, it was a film very difficult
Shading.
to produce because we have just 5 weeks to shoot it.
Mm.
And the budget, it should be more than 4 the budget we have.
I could tell you much more about it, but please ask
Si
on
vous
the
voulez,
artistic
je
level.
peux répéter en
En
anglais.
anglais,
Yeah,
s'il vous
for,
plaît.
to share with us.
My name is Siraj Sayed. I'm India correspondent for filmfestivals.com Paris. My question for Mr. Daraki is that in today's times, the former French colonies like Morocco and Algeria and France, what is the relationship between these countries? Are there any major problems or is it peaceful?
Là, aujourd'hui, disons que le Maroc, depuis une dizaine d'années, a décidé de se tourner vers son entité africaine. On avait des relations européennes au point où à un moment, on pensait faire un pont entre le Maroc et l'Europe.
So Morocco so far was very much looking towards Europe, and even thinking doing a bridge towards between his country and Europe, but a physical bridge. Nowadays, for the last 10 years, we had major change in Morocco. That Morocco is looking towards Africa, leadership towards
Nos
Africa,
racines.
which are our roots as Moroccan, and our roots as a humanity, because it's Africa is a mother.
Et donc,
Continue.
les relations avec les anciens pays colonisés sont très développées parce que on a des points communs.
Les relations avec?
Des pays anciennement colonisés.
Yeah, but we share many things in common with all ex-colonized country from Africa, you mean, yeah? Mainly because we experience the same history, some common, much things in common in our history.
Mais c'est vrai qu'avec la France, on avait une relation privilégiée parce que nous parlons la langue, le français, et nous avons des échanges très développés avec la France.
Yeah, France was always special. Their strong relationships with Morocco because
Language.
yeah, the language was since ever a common language, and also the closeness, cultural point.
Mais
Morocco was privileged in some way.
Mais depuis à peu près 2 ans, les relations avec la France commencent à couper. Et le Maroc veut s'ouvrir vers plus d'anglais et plus du monde universel.
Yeah, on peut dire qu'il fait son adolescence, le Maroc, maintenant. Morocco came into adulthood really now. He wants to cut with the mother France, really, after 60 years. And and is doing kind of adulthood crisis. I mean, to impose that French language is not the only language we can speak. We could tell Arabic, Amazigh. We share this in common with you, Indian people. Not 40 language, but we have Amazigh, so-called Berber, the tribes from mountain, Arabic, and that's to start with. Jewish, Hebrew as a language. Hebrew, because it used to be a vivid community of many thousand, hundreds of thousands Jew until 48. Right. Almost 1 million. It's not the case anymore. So it was 3 plus the Spanish speaking, French speaking. Nowadays, the young goes toward English because of the socials. They speak the Moroccan Arabic and they speak English. And that's a way for young people, naturally, they take distance. They don't care about France or whatever, Algeria even more.
I am an old people because I talk more French than English. But now the new people go to school by English.
Quel dommage.
I want to see something in my movie. Why it's now also? It's Kamel, the hero of movie. He's 12 years old, and he grandit en 4 mois de lutte. Il devient adulte. Et c'est un peu l'image et la métaphore du Maroc aujourd'hui, comme ça.
Yes, this is the question of you ask. The boy, the hero, is a metaphor of this growing Morocco toward adulthood, and is waking up. Yeah, and he is like Morocco today, awakening to its true independence, not only formal, but in any area of society. Oui, complètement. Linguistic, cultural, economical, with relationships with Africa. And maybe India today too, because we are putting a bridge with you.
Sir, my question is to you. Other than Europe, in Europe, which country you have more viewership? And other than Europe, where else does your film, more viewers are there for your film?
I didn't understand, sorry.
This is regarding viewership of your film.
Viewership?
Yeah. In Europe, which country has the max of viewership, and other countries, where do you find a market for your film?
We just started. So film is really new. There are 3 production countries: Bosnia, Austria, Croatia, and the numbers are in Bosnia a little better than in Croatia, and in Austria we hope to be better than Bosnia. But it's very tough because in every of these countries have different cinema culture, different cinemas, multiplexes, art house cinemas. For instance, in Croatia, we don't have art house cinemas. We have huge multiplexes, and I have strong distributor. In Austria, I have a very weak distributor, but there are a lot of art house cinemas. So it's, and the numbers are pretty much the same at the end. But actually, target audience invest. I want to find it. I want to find there are a lot of our people, we say Jugos, ex-Serbs, Croats, Bosnians, living, who were Gastarbeiter and who went to Scandinavia, Switzerland, Germany. That are countries which I see as the biggest market for our film. But I don't know. The film will premiere in the States in the March. We are planning to have some 3 or 4 festivals, and I think they understand the film. So it's really crazy because film was in France, and the French people on this festival, this peculiar audience, didn't like it as much as the audience in Sarajevo or yesterday here was excellent. I mean, it's you are surprised every time. But my pleasure is that in India, I was always pleasantly surprised.
Pavo, just adding to what you said right now. Yeah, here. you have enjoyed a great reception in India, be it at IFFK, where your movie Ministry of Love had a great following.
Thank you very much.
So why do you think? Can you just tell us why do you think your movies? Because you talk about very serious subjects in a very entertaining manner. It gets great reception in India. Why do you think is it? And how has your experience been across the film festivals that you've attended in India?
I don't know. I think Indian people really love films. It's a great cinema culture inside rooted. So I've never seen, my first visit was in Kerala. I was being entertained by some students. We were talking about Hollywood. They didn't know anything about Hollywood, but they could talk everything about each of films of Jiří Menzel, who is one of my favorite filmmakers. So it's a great cinematic culture there. It's something that is in your veins. And the other thing which Indian people, Indian audience are not pretentious and not snobbish. So they're not shy to laugh when something is funny, and they're not shy to think when something is, that's my point. That's my point of view, you know. When you go to France, you can go somewhere where it's receptive, where it's open, but you know, and I'm pretty direct guy, so you can joke with me, I can accept the joke, but you can also take the joke back. So in India, it was, I don't know, I was always warmly receptive, and I was really touched with, with this 7-year-old shirt on selfie from Ministry of Love, yes.
If there are no more questions, we'll conclude the media interaction here. Thank you so much, and many, many congratulations to both of you. Again.
Thank you very much.